Everyone feared her. That much was obvious the moment she stepped into the docking concourse of Station Helios 9. Conversations died mid-sentence. A group of dock workers hurriedly backed away, their boots scraping against the alloy floor. Even the station's automated security drones subtly repositioned themselves, weapon ports humming as they tracked her movements. She was tall, nearly 2.5 meters, her form elegant but unmistakably alien. Her skin shimmered like obsidian glass shot through with faint crimson veins that pulsed softly with her heartbeat. Her eyes, large and multifaceted, reflected the lights of the station like fractured rubies. Along her spine, folded tight against her back, lay 4 bladed appendages, biological weapons that every sentient species in known space recognized instantly. A Karzal, a living extinction event. She noticed the fear, as she always did. She had learned to read it across 1,000 worlds. The stiff posture, the refusal to meet her gaze, the subtle tremor of prey confronted by a predator that did not need to hunt anymore. The Karzal were a species engineered for war long before humanity ever looked up at the stars. They had shattered empires, devoured fleets, and rewritten the meaning of surrender. And she was the last of them. Her name was Essathira, though no one ever asked for it. No one except the human. He sat alone at a maintenance table near the outer hull viewport, a half-disassembled service drone spread out before him. He was small compared to her, fragile-looking even, wearing a grease-stained jumpsuit and an expression of mild frustration as he worked on a stubborn circuit node. He didn't look up when she approached. He didn't flinch. He didn't reach for a weapon. That alone made her pause. She stopped an arm's length away, her shadow falling across his workspace. Still, he didn't react, just muttered something under his breath and tapped the circuit again. "You're routing the power wrong," she said, her voice resonant and layered, carrying harmonics that once sent enemy troops fleeing in terror. The human blinked and finally looked up. "Oh," he said.
"Hey."
"Yeah, I figured that out 5 minutes ago." The connectors warped. Essathira stared at him. He stared back, eyes calm, curious, and utterly unafraid. "You know what I am," she said carefully. "Sure," he replied. "You're a Karzal. Or what's left of them, anyway." "You should be running," she said. He shrugged. "Station security already tried that with you. Didn't go well for them." A faint ripple of something like amusement passed through her. "Everyone fears me," she said, the words slipping out before she could stop herself. "Why don't you?" The human leaned back in his chair, studying her in a way no one ever had. Not as a weapon, not as a monster, but as a person. "Name's Elias," he said. "And I guess because I know what it's like to be the last thing people blame." That answer unsettled her more than any scream ever had. They talked after that, tentatively at first. Essathira learned Elias was a systems engineer, a civilian contractor whose job was to keep aging stations like Helios 9 from falling apart. He learned that Essathira was traveling without escort, without faction, without purpose. "I was bred to destroy," she told him later, standing together before the viewport as stars drifted past. "When the Karzal War ended, the galaxy decided we were too dangerous to exist. They hunted us. All of us. And now?" Elias asked. "Now I survive," she said. "That is all." Their conversation was cut short by alarms. Red light flooded the concourse as the station's AI blared a warning. An unknown fleet had dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the system, slave raiders, judging by their transponder codes. Helios 9 was old, lightly defended, and full of civilians. Panic erupted. Essathira felt it immediately, the familiar pull of violence, the instinct coded into every fiber of her being. Her bladed limbs unfurled with a whisper of lethal promise. "They'll butcher everyone here," she said, "just like the others." Elias looked at her, jaw tight. "Then don't let them." The station's defense grid failed within minutes. Boarding pods slammed into the hull, and screams echoed through the corridors. Essathira moved like a storm unleashed, carving through armored raiders with terrifying precision. Blaster fire splashed harmlessly against her adaptive skin. She was everything the galaxy remembered and feared. But this time, she wasn't alone. Elias coordinated evacuations, rerouted power, and manually sealed breached compartments, risking his life again and again. When a raider cornered a group of refugees, Elias stood between them armed with nothing but a welding torch. Essathira arrived an instant later. When the fighting ended, the raiders were gone, those who survived fleeing in blind terror. Helios, 9 still stood. Silence followed. The survivors gathered in the concourse, staring at Essathira with the same fear as before, but something else now mingled with it. Awe. Gratitude. Uncertainty. Station command approached her cautiously. "You saved us," the commander said, "but you can't stay." Essathira nodded. She had expected nothing else. Elias found her at the airlock later, preparing to leave. "They still fear you," he said quietly. "They always will," she replied. He hesitated, then smiled faintly. "For what it's worth, humans don't just remember monsters. We remember heroes, too." She looked down at him, something heavy loosening in her chest. "Why?" she asked again. "Why don't you fear me?" Elias met her gaze. "Because you chose not to be what they made you." For the first time in her long, violent life, Essathira felt something like hope. As her ship slipped into hyperspace, the galaxy remained dangerous, divided, and afraid. But somewhere among the stars, a legend had changed, not of a monster to be feared, but of an alien woman who could have destroyed everything and chose not to. And humanity, quietly and stubbornly, chose to stand with her.